Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
A school day took a terrifying turn after a student was shot inside a Kentucky school. What we've learned about the investigation. Firefighters now say fire alarms were not working during a fire at a Richmond hotel. What the city's chief tells us about alarm inspections. And doctors have diagnosed the first case of the Ebola virus right here in the United States. These stories and breaking news as it happens coming up on WKYT This Morning. Good morning and welcome into you. I'm Rebecca Smith. Bill Bryant has the morning off. For the first track on the weather, let's turn to meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, we're looking outside and no surprise here, guys. It's clear, it's calm. There's not much going on, maybe a little fog here and there, but that's about it. Live sky camera, there is your shot. Lights of Hamburg. Things look pretty good. Cool up toward the northern zones. You can kind of see the blue there on the screen. And that's really not going to make it down into the region. We're sitting there in the mid to upper 50s for most locations, even a few 60s over toward the east. So what you felt yesterday morning, what you're going to be feeling this morning. By the afternoon, right there in the upper 70s. Pretty pleasant day. I mean, all in all, that's not all that bad. And we'll have mostly sunny skies, too. Tomorrow we get really warm, right there in the mid 80s. And then here comes that front we've been talking about for a long time. I'll show you that coming up in your 7-day forecast in a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Micah. New on WKYT News this morning, Lexington police made a quick arrest after an overnight robbery happened just after 1 o'clock this morning on Walden Drive at Laredo. The victims told police they were walking down the street when a group of men pulled up in a dark-colored Oldsmobile, all armed with handguns. They told police they forced them to hand over their wallets and cell phones. An officer who was close to the scene saw the vehicle and stopped it at Man of War and Alumni. 5 men were all taken into custody, now facing a first-degree robbery charge. Also new this morning, we're tracking a crime alert after a man was assaulted during a carjacking. This happened a little after 9 last night on Village Drive. The victim told police he was approached by 2 men with handguns who told him to get out of his car. He told police one of the men then got into the car with him. Police say he was assaulted several times before they pulled him out of the car and he was able to escape. The victim was treated for minor injuries. Police later located the car at an apartment complex on Jeffrey Court. The suspects were gone. This morning, police in Cynthiana are looking for a man after an armed robbery at a Harrison County gas station. It happened about 11:30 last night at the Fast Max convenience store on US 27 in Cynthiana. Police say a man wearing a mask walked into the store and pointed a handgun at the clerk and demanded money. He took it out and ran out of the store. Police described the suspect as a man about 6 foot tall, wearing gray pants, a dark hoodie, dirty white tennis shoes, and, of course, a mask. Well, this morning, students will be returning to class the day after a shooting that injured 1 student at a Louisville school. Police say 1 student shot another at Fern Creek High School in Louisville, and they now have the suspected shooter in custody. The victim did not have life-threatening injuries. WKYT's Victor Puente talked to students who saw what happened.
Moments after a young man was shot at Fern Creek High School in Louisville, parents began getting alerts from their children.
She texted me that they were going on lockdown, that there was a shooter in the building.
Louisville police say the shooting happened around 1 Tuesday afternoon. They say the shooter ran from the school. The victim was taken to University Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Students we spoke to said the shooter fired multiple shots and that the teen who was hit wasn't the target. They said the moments after those shots were fired, everyone panicked.
He shot twice, and then everybody was running. And then he got hit. I saw him fall on the ground. And everybody was running because I couldn't get time to look at it. I had to run away to the classroom.
He wasn't trying to shoot the one that actually got shot. He was aiming for somebody else.
While police searched for the shooter, parents began to gather outside of the school, waiting to be reunited with their children.
Saw SWAT running in with their guns drawn, bulletproof vests on.
About 3 hours after the shooting, Louisville police say they took the shooting suspect into custody. They aren't releasing the 16-year-old's name or where he was arrested. Parents say if it wasn't for their children, they wouldn't have known what was happening inside.
She was scared. Everyone was on lockdown. She didn't know where her brother was. No one was telling him anything. So it's just the fear of the unknown that was really freaking her out the most and getting her the most upset.
The school system has said they'll have classes Wednesday morning. They'll also have counselors at the school to help those who need it. In Louisville, Victor Puente, WKYT.
The 16-year-old suspect is charged with assault, wanton endangerment, tampering with evidence, and several gun possession charges. Well, a young boy was found dead in a Louisville park, and now detectives are trying to find out who he is and what happened to him. A passerby found the boy's body in a wooded area yesterday afternoon. Police think the boy is between 11 and 13 years old. Homicide detectives spent hours searching for clues that may help them figure out exactly what happened. Police are not releasing what kind of injuries the little boy had. Detectives are still searching for the boy's parents to determine the identity. Well, doctors have diagnosed the first case of the Ebola virus in the United States. The patient's been in isolation at a hospital in Dallas. Officials say the man became ill several days after arriving in Dallas from Liberia. He'd gone to the hospital twice before doctors learned he had come from West Africa. Health officials say there was no risk to any airline passengers because he had no symptoms at the time. Authorities say their discovery of 2 pipe bombs during a massive manhunt in the Pennsylvania woods shows the fugitive is stressed out and making mistakes, according to authorities. State police say the explosives were not deployed, but they were fully functional and capable of causing significant damage. Eric Freen has been on the run since September 12th. He's accused of killing one state trooper and wounding another. Police say Freen researched topics like how to avoid a police manhunt and various survival skills. President Barack Obama has issued a federal disaster declaration for parts of eastern Kentucky. This comes after flash flooding and mudslides damaged homes and washed out roads in August. The president named Floyd, Knott, Johnson, and Pike counties in the declaration. Those counties are now eligible for federal money as part of the recovery efforts. State leaders say the floods caused more than $6 million worth of damage. Firefighters tell us the fire alarms at a Richmond motel were not working when a large fire broke out. That fire damaged much of the Country Hearth Inn on Monday. No one was injured, but now firefighters say they're trying to figure out exactly what happened to those fire alarms. WKYT's Jordan Valines talked to the Richmond fire chief.
Fires can spread in a matter of seconds, and in such a short amount of time, the sound of a fire alarm can save.
In buildings that have a fire alarm system, each floor will have a pull station next to an exit that residents can activate if there is a problem.
But on Monday, when an electrical skillet caused a fire at the Country Hearth Inn, the problem became the fire alarms and the fact that they didn't work when pulled.
If it had been 3 o'clock in the morning instead of 3 o'clock in the afternoon where people were around and saw the smoke, we could have had several dead residents.
The fire marshal with the Richmond Fire Department inspects every business in the city once a year. So even though this business had been inspected in the past year, at some point the fire alarms simply stopped working, which falls under the owner's responsibility. Before staying at a hotel or motel, the fire chief says there are things you can do to keep your safety in check.
You could take it on as your responsibility to say, hey, I want to know if your fire alarm is up to date and does it actually work?
Because you never know when that sound could help save your life. In Richmond, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
The fire department is working with the motel owners to ensure that the fire alarm system is brought to code as soon as possible. The fire chief says the owners will not face any penalties for the inactive fire alarms. Happening today, a homeless Vietnam vet will receive a proper burial. Friends of Charles Eck, including employees at the Winchester Peddlers Mall, had been raising money for his funeral since he died a few weeks ago. Eck will be buried at 1:30 today at Camp Nelson Cemetery in Jessamine County with full military honors. We have an update now on the construction of that Noah's Ark theme park in northern Kentucky. Officials with the Ark Encounter Park posted this new aerial video of the site on Facebook. You can see the land for the park in Grant County has already been cleared. The park will feature a replica of Noah's Ark. Construction began this summer. The park is expected to open up in 2016.